president of G3. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion, one of the most dominant linebackers of his generation, also a color analyst on Giants radio broadcasts, our friend Carl Banks. Carl, good morning.
DA, how you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm excited, doing well. We're really excited about our partnership with the Alliance, man. It's very exciting times for the brand, for both brands, actually.
I got buddies that grew up like me in the 80s and 90s, loving starter equipment, loving starter jackets, the satin jackets. I had one of them text at me, hey, man, did you see this deal? This is so cool. I'm all in on this. So I know people are fired up. What is the relationship going to be? How are we going to see that on the field and such?
Well, to give you a little bit of a perspective, one of the reasons why this has been so appealing to me is because, you know, I was one of the first players to endorse the brand when I was playing. And so I kind of have an emotional connection to it, and I knew what starter meant in sports. It's, you know, it's still the most iconic name in sports, and, you know, no disrespect to the guys in Portland. Obviously, they've taken it to a whole nother level with footwear and everything else. But starter was where it all began. That's where they began to aggregate the emotion of the fan and the players in the game and put it into apparel so that people can be proud to wear it in a very stylish way. So when I was sitting with Charlie Ebersol, the founder of the league, and we were talking about possible opportunities, and he was picking my brain, and I'm like, listen, I would love for starter to return to the sidelines because, you know, this is where it really all began in sports. I mean, there was, you know, a few brands here or there, but no one aggregated the lifestyle and the fashion and the passion of the fan like starter did. And so what we did is we put together a deal that will allow us to make the jerseys, sideline apparel, headwear. And so what you'll see is starter jerseys in game. You'll see starter uniforms on coaches and players. And obviously we're going to continue to build upon, you know, some of the iconic items that are relevant today, like the satin jacket. But we're going to use state-of-the-art fabrications. Obviously, we can't use 1980s fabrications for uniforms because the players are, you know, they're used to having better performing garments than then. So we're on top of the technology as well.
That's really cool. Carl Banks joins us here on the show. I can't wait to see some of the gear you guys roll out for the new AAF. And once again, those games are on CBS and CBS Sports Network as well, beginning in February. So this league has some momentum here. Do you think that there is long-term viability? What is your expectations for this brand new football league?
Well, I think it does, and I think, you know, Charlie Ebersol will be able to talk a little more about it. But the thing that appealed to me is that, number one, it's the time of year that it is going to be played, and also some of the locations. So you've got a lot of teams that are in the SEC corridor. You've got some teams that are on the West Coast where there are huge fan bases. And so I think and then they're aligned with colleges, where the colleges are, major college talent. So you'll be able to, number one, keep kids in some of those areas where the fan bases are. Number two, you'll be able to get players that are just maybe borderline in the NFL that'll be able to come and play. Or if you have guys on practice squads or something like that, or that need to develop their game, you can do that. And you'll see some big names in this league as well. So I think it has a very, very strong chance of success. It's not competing with the NFL, but I think it almost complements what the NFL's efforts are, and it can be a developmental program for what the NFL does, because when you look at where college kids are coming out at certain positions, the quarterback position is one that continuously needs to be developed. The offensive line positions are positions that need to be developed. So these are areas where the quality of play and coaching in the alliance is top-notch. When you look at some of the coaches that are listed there, they're top-notch. So we will be able to really put a quality product on the field. We're going to make sure that the fans are entertained and the players. There's some pieces to this that will be appealing to quality players as well, because you have kind of this player development arm where we're going to make sure that the players are continuing their education, have job opportunities as well, and develop. Heinz Word, Troy Polamalu, Justin Tuck, and I believe there's a couple other players that are heading up that aspect, that arm of it, to make sure that these guys can, develop their lives outside of the game.
Carl Banks joins us here on the show talking about the Alliance of American Football. We've got teams in Atlanta, Birmingham, Memphis, Orlando, Phoenix, Salt Lake, San Antonio, San Diego. It'll start up in February. On a Giants front, feels like this offseason, and maybe the last couple of offseasons and seasons, have always revolved around something with Odell Beckham. And now there's a lawsuit that alleges some things around Odell. Do you find it exhausting sometimes to see the news that kind of constantly swirls around Odell?
Well, it has been. This one I don't think even hits the radar. And he's done just about everything right, which, it shouldn't be a milestone because that's what the expectation is of all professional athletes. But, sometimes they don't always do the right things. But I don't think whatever this lawsuit is, it's not really hitting the radar in terms of things that Odell has done that's been a distraction. I don't know all the details. I only know what I've read, and it's been kind of varying stories. But, guys, let me just stay away from it. But let me just say, I don't think this is something that will be viewed as a big distraction for him or the team.
On Saquon Barkley, expectations are so through the roof. I mean, people are talking about him in the Hall of Fame already when he has not played it down. Do you ever look at some of the hype around Saquon and just roll your eyes and go, hey, guys, it is tough to play in this league. Let's not put the cart ahead of the horse.
Yeah, I always laugh because, a team that was 3-13, you get one player, new coaches, and all of a sudden you're ready for the Super Bowl again. It just doesn't work that way. You can't, it's not Monopoly where you can skip ahead and go straight to the championship. It still takes work. I think the young man has talent. I think he's going to have to adjust to the game. I think he's built for it. His style of play is built for it. And if he could have anything close to a rookie year like Todd Gurley or Ezekiel Elliott, then the Giants are on track. But there are a lot of things that have to be in place for that. You got to have an offensive line that's working well for you also. So, I mean, he's going to do his part. I'm not putting greatness, the stamp of greatness on any player that hasn't taken the field in the NFL yet. And if he takes the field, he may have great plays, but greatness takes a while.
It's a good way to put it. Carl Banks knows about greatness, Pro Bowler, one of the great linebackers of his generation. He's also the president of G3. And Starter Apparel has knocked down a deal, which is so cool, with the Alliance of American Football, where they're going to have satin jackets and the uniforms and all types of cool stuff revolving around the league. And that league starts up in February. Carl, it's always great to catch up, my man. Thanks so much. Congratulations on this deal. I can't wait to see how it comes out, and we'll talk to you again, hopefully.
D.A., thanks for having me, man. And thanks for this opportunity to speak about the league.
My pleasure, bud. Thanks again.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
Carl Banks joining us this morning here on the DA Show.